What's your name?
My name is Conte.
Conte.
Conte Freeman, Walking Man Tour Guide.
Nice meeting you.
I'm going to give you the history of this entire area because this entire area,
Yeah?
every building around here, even the park area, the rocks on the ground, and the fountain has something to do with civil rights movement, bus boycott,
Yeah?
the Confederacy, and slavery.
Right.
I'm going to start with this building over here. This
Yeah.
building is a bank on the bottom 2 floors, government building on the top.
Uh-huh.
The original building that was there was the Colonial Hotel.
Colonial Hotel.
It was imploded and this building was built.
Uh-huh.
The Colonial Hotel was actually used at one point as a Confederate warehouse before they built the Confederate White House before they built the Confederate White House here.
Yeah, okay.
From the Colonial Hotel, a letter was sent to the Winter Building. From that letter, the first telegraph was sent to start the Confederate War. Not just to start the Confederate War, but for them to attack Fort Sumter. And over a period of years during the slave era, over 2,500 slaves were hung from the original parapets of the Winter Building.
Well, they are hung? For what?
It might have been for disobedience. It might even been to send a signal to the rest of them, the slaves to stay in line. That was never, I couldn't find information on that part. It might even been for punishment. I don't know how far and why, but they had the right to do it because they didn't see slaves as human. They saw them as property.
Right.
They saw them as subhuman. So they figured they can do anything, anytime, anywhere they desire to. And they did at one point. This building was the central bank. The central bank helped to fund the Confederacy with loans. And they went bankrupt. That clock also goes along with it. That clock was Klein and Son's clock. Klein and Son are the ones who own the central bank.
Oh, this clock here.
Yeah, this clock was supposed to have been a way to show that how wealthy they are. The building across over from the fountain, that was the Commerce Building, the slaves market. At one point they held slaves in the basement part of the Colonial Hotel and in the basement part of there.
Right here.
But they did not sell the slaves in that building. That's where the indentured servants in the house, so it was called the slave market. The indentured servants and the household slaves used to go and get their payment. Never in money. You give somebody enough money, they can buy their freedom.
Right.
Always in something you can grow, wheat, corn, beans, that type of thing. This area over here where the park is, this area was not always a park. This is an area that they use as an open marketplace to sell fresh fruits, produce, and fruits and vegetables when the slave era was going on. The fountain. The fountain, where the fountain area is, was the slaves market. There was no stage in there. It was completely hollow. They used to walk the slaves up Commerce Street from the Alabama River and through tunnels in the Alabama River up in here, and this is where they sold the slaves. They would not walk the slaves up Commerce Street from the riverfront during the daytime because the people did not want them to walk on the same streets with them at the same time. So they would have, if they moved them across up on top of the streets, it had to be late in the evening. Other than that, they moved the slaves through tunnels. All through the city, there are still a lot of tunnels.
So tunnels? Why?
Tunnels. Because so that they wouldn't be seen.
They wouldn't be seen.
Exactly. And so that they can move them from place to place. There were tunnels that went up the hill, from the riverfront to this building. There's still a tunnel underneath the central bank. I've seen it. There's still
Is
tunnels.
it open to the public now?
No, it's not open to the public. I'm trying to get him to allow me to do that, but we have to make sure that they're safe. But other than that,
the tunnel will be safe.
Yeah. Other than that, a lot of these tunnels are not known unless you don't know people who know people where they are. They don't want them to be known apparently, because a lot of the tunnels were filled in.
So when they auction the slaves, is it an open space or is it secretly
No,
inside?
they auction them out in the open. because they used to sell livestock and cotton on the outside at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to auction the slaves down in there. It was not a stage.
Mm-hmm.
The people used to walk around and look on the inside
Mm-hmm.
to critique the slaves that they wanted to buy.
Mm.
Over 1,200 slaves were killed there during that time. Some for being disobedient. Some of them, they say, well, some of them for trying to escape to freedom.
Sure.
The slaves used to stand around in there 14, 15 hours a day without water or food. So they became worn out and fatigued.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they washed up and cleaned up the healthier and the stronger looking slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to get 1,500, 3,000 if you check the archives, sometimes up to $5,000.
Yeah, it says right in the plaque there over there.
Yeah, but it doesn't say this part.
1,500.
But they also were able to get, if you check, up to $5,000 for a healthy, strong slave. Someone asked me one time, why did they pay so much? Well, if you get a healthy, strong male and a healthy, strong female, you don't have to keep buying slaves. They were mating the healthy, strong males and the healthy, strong females so they can bring about healthy, strong children.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't have to keep buying slaves. They were basically mating them and growing them.
Sure.
So,
They bought them for life,
Oh.
right?
yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
So
You're pulling
that's
so
why
fast.
they didn't have, But see, at one point, they used to bring the slaves in
Yeah.
across country. It was costly,
Across
and they lost a
country?
lot of slaves. Costly.
Yeah.
And they lost a lot of slaves, so what they did was they decided to use the riverfront, the steam engine boats. The riverfront used to go as high as 2/3 of this tall tree. And until they put dams along the way. It was called the Black Trail at one time. Because they used to bring and these rocks were used as balancers. They're not the original rocks. The original rocks came from Denmark, late 1700s, early 1800s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They came in boulder form and then they were broken down. They were used as balancers to keep the slave ships buoyant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They used to bring them into the port of New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi,
Mm-hmm.
Florida, Mobile,
Mm-hmm.
Selma up here to the riverfront, and this is where they brought the slaves in.
Over there is the riverside.
If you go that way,
What
you'll
river?
see the
What
riverfront.
river is that?
It's the Alabama River. It was
Alabama
also
River.
called, during that time, it was called the Black Trail.
Black Trail. The river called Black Trail.
That's what it was called, the Black Trail, or Black Route or Black Trail, because that's where they used to bring the slaves in. At one point, they used the slaves to build a track for the steam engine trains,
Mm-hmm.
so that they could move slaves back and forth through the South,
Mm-hmm.
so they can be auction, sold, or traded.
Mm.
If you look at the train system, you still have to go all the way to Atlanta before you can go north or south.
Mm.
Because these tracks were only instituted to go east and west to the south. And they still use that same track system. Even though it's not the same tracks or the same train, it's not a steam engine train anymore, but they still use those same track systems
Mm-hmm.
for to move stuff back and forth, and then they have to go all the way to Atlanta to go north or south.
Mm.
Someone said that not too long ago they made a way that you can go north or south from Mississippi. I don't know how far south you can go from Mississippi, but I was told that you can go north from Mississippi. I don't know about that part. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I was told. But I know you have to go all the way to Atlanta in order to go north and south from here.
Okay, so it's like a port, right? Like a
Basically,
different.
yes.
Yeah.
This was the stronghold of the Confederacy.
Okay.
This was their major stronghold. When the Confederacy, if you look up this way, step over here, you'll see the Confederate White House.
Mm-hmm.
That is the Confederate White House.
Mm.
When they built it, the Confederates built it. Hey, hey!